Today I will be talking about the Dogon sculptural practice. The Dogon people are part of the Western Sardinic region. Dogon people inhabited the entire cliff face in Utanga Plain as far as the Mandro and gradually occupied the large central stretch of the indigenous Tombo. They live in the elevated rocky heights of the Maui Bandirga escarpment. Sculptural practice is an integral part of the Dogon culture. The Dogon built grannies and tombs into cliffs and are credited with the Talon style of sculpture, which is an abstracted anthropomorphic form. The Dogon sculpture is still rich with tradition despite the effects of modernism and tourism, therefore making Dogon sculptural practice a secure and established tradition and art form. Most of the art and ceremonies are held during the dry season when work is not needed to tending crops. So here you can see examples of some of the Dogon carvings. So let me go to the next slide, and here's more examples. And so Dogon carvings and sculptures are distinguishable by historical period based on their patina and style. Figures are often tall, slim, and have an oval-shaped head, as you can see here in this one figure. Others are short and stocky, with slanting eyes. Distinct features credited to the Dogon style include well-defined facial features, arrow-shaped noses, diamond eyes, and breasts attached to a thick collarbone like shoulders. The Dogon people were influenced by their harsh, isolating surroundings, developing mythical systems and sculptural language which spread throughout the dry, rocky terrain, paving the way for religion and tradition by way of sculpture. Okay, so then next I'm going to talk about sculptural practice as sacrifice in Dogon society. So here you can see some altars. Sculptures in Dogon culture are used as sacrifice. The traditional use of Dogon figures represent a person and an altar. The four primary functions of sculptures are identifying a person who asks for help or pray, identifying their problem, drawing attention to the supernatural beings of the proceedings, and intensifying contact with the supernatural. Blacksmiths are the only ones who can make sculptures. They make them and keep in mind what problems a sculpture should address in its overall contribution. The sculpture should look like its host, but its features are highly stylized, and in some instances, some statues are used by other people. These carved figures are not ancestors, but rather representations of the living. As once quoted by one of the Dogon people, one cannot always pray and kneel at the altar, but statues can. Dogon statues live for those they are created by and for. Both statues and ancestors can intervene between man and the supernatural world. Hence, misfortune is viewed by Dogon people as a sign of lack of attention to sculpture. Such statues are extensions of their owner's wishes, and without sacrifice, the statue is simply a piece of wood. In turn, sacrificing on an altar or a statue increases its power. Statues used for a long time for sacrifices become dangerous, becoming too close to the supernatural for comfort. Statues are discarded after being used for a while and accumulating an abundance of power. They don't usually last their owner's lifetime. Dogon used statues and sculptures to weave their belief system with their belief in sacrifice. Moreover, the complex religious and social beliefs of the Dogon people expressed in strong artistic tradition. Dogon art represents spirits, ancestors, and totemic animals. These characteristics illustrate and play a significant role in ceremonies in the order of the lives of the Dogon. So the most common mythical figure is the Nomo. Figures of the Nomo are created in wood, sometimes with encrusted patina or in iron. Blacksmiths alone are the only ones who can carve Nomos and other ceremonial figures and ritual objects. Restrictions govern rituals and sacred objects. emphasizing the importance of the religious nature of sculpture. The Nomo represents a primordial union in the difference of male and female characteristics associated with human beings. These Dogon icons are prime examples of ritualistic behavior related to sculptural practice. The carved figures are buried and fed periodically to ensure the safeguarding of a village. The primordial couple is the spiritual ancestor of the first human pair. So, as you can see with some of these figures, the Nomo pairs have their arms around each other, which is highly unusual because putting an arm around a woman is not done in Dogon culture in public. This imagery shows the symbolic significance and union of the pair. As you can see, they have cylindrical torsos and long oval heads, and the predominant in male and female figures are the arrow-shaped noses. In this one, I don't know if you can really see it because of the angle, but the woman has a child that clings to her back, while the male has a quiver that would have held arrows, nearly on the same scale as the child. These visual attributes enforce the idea of childbirth, nurturing, procreation, hunting, structure, and order. This vital figure corresponds to the concept of interrelationships of self, ego consciousness, and the collection of the unconscious, therefore solidifying the duality and harmonious relationships of the primordial couple. The figures mirror each other, yet are distinct. The primarily sculptural artistic tradition of the Dogon serves to create aesthetically beautiful and powerful objects. So, tourism. Today, Dogon people have become both artists and businessmen. The modern sculptural practice has expanded to the knowledge of the marketplace. Statues fade out of the religious system. Sculptures, and therefore the sculptures are sold to tourists, and art merchants become relics of the past because of their loss of function. However, there is market value and appeal in old objects that Dogon people can profit from. Tourism became a significant component after World War II. There have become new artistic and cultural practice to fit the emergence of tourism. The geological influence, local landscape architecture, Dogon mythology and tradition become abstracted from their original meaning and intention. From a westernized standpoint, images of mystery, exoticness, and remoteness of culture were created. New artistic practices have formed, and cultural practice fit a westernized tourism. There are more industrial products compared to indigenous ones. So these are examples of Dogon's children's drawings. Dogon children have also participated in this business. Dogon school children fill notebooks with drawings of Dogon life and these are offered and sold to tourists. Children's drawings usually predict three primary things: mask, cliffside, sculpture, and ritual. The interaction between children and tourists allow Dogon children to get an external sense of their culture and present their society to outsiders. The influence of modernism, Islam, Christianity, and tourism in the art market have affected Dogon life. Despite Islam, Christianity, tourism, Dogon religion, and sculptural life have remained intact, and children actively participate. Dogon people have honed the craft to create the illusion of being old. Some may call this trickery, but some call it business in a form of modern-day sculptural practice. Sculptural practice has survived alongside tourism. Dogon people have balanced tourism with not compromising their tradition's integrity. Dogon people have control of their tourism, their artifacts. As seen with the Nomo couple, there is a strong sense of Dogon myth, history, and belief associated with the sculptural practice and ritual. Thank you.